Welcome back to Your Issues Live. Tonight we come to you live from Old Harbor. We're talking about an important subject in case of emergency that needs overseas requirement. Can you afford to do it? I tell you a story. Many moons ago, a couple of years ago, I was traveling along the road and I saw this ambulance moving fast. And what I recognized was to be the security cars for Mr. Bruce Golding. You know him, he's the prime minister. He wasn't the prime minister then. Take your mind back. He had an accident, he got shot in his eye. And I drove, the real reporter in me, and I drove and I ended up on the tarmac of the airport, Norman Manley, only to see air ambulance out there, only to see Mr. Golding coming out, and I found out that there was an accident, and he was to be flown out as he was flown out. And I remember then, much younger, much slimmer, saying, wow, Mr. Golding is going on air ambulance. So that's good. I like that. He's seeking medical care from wherever he can get it from. But guess what? Tonight we're hearing that you can get it as well. Yes, for $500 per month per person. But there's a very interesting lady I have in the audience, and I'm not going to leave this for last. Could you just tell us who you are, ma'am? I know your name is Lamont, but tell us who you are.
Good evening, Jamaica. I'm Joan Marie Lamont James. The sister of a brother who died last week.
Sister of a brother who died last week. Tell us about it.
Well, he had an accident on the Marcus Garvey Drive road there, and we needed other medical care and assistance for him to see if we could get him overseas to restore him. And when I called Air Ambulance Services and heard the prices, I was like, this is for the rich and the famous.
Tell us the kind of prices you heard, ma'am. Share your story with us.
We were looking at roughly $2 million just to air ambulance him out. And I was like, how am I going to afford this? It just seems hopeless. And then a colleague said to me, there's something going on out COK. Go and find out. Because I said, he's a member of COK. So I rushed out by COK immediately that day. And I was told you have to be a member of Member First. You don't have to be you can be a member of COK, the credit union, but you needed to be a member of this Member First, because that's an air ambulance service that would provide you with that opportunity to go abroad, but you'll have to be a member for up to 6 months. $500. And I was like, just $500? My brother needed to pay monthly, and they checked to see if he was a member really, but they said it's just a month, so we're not so certain he would be a member. But they still checked. And he said no, and I was like, oh my gosh, if only he was a member. And this service was even being offered earlier, I knew he would have gotten there. But Member First was very, very supportive. COK still called them. And immediately, a doctor called me, Dr. George, got in touch with me. And I explained to him the situation, the nature of the situation, the type of injury. And right away, they called the hospital. Right away. And even 12 o'clock in the night, Member First called me in the night to say they have gotten in touch with the attending physician. Well, we were looking at other procedures, because I got to Member First at a later time, because we were searching around, because I didn't know where to get this.
In other words, you didn't know about it.
Yes, I didn't
That's
know
one of the
about
reasons why
it.
we're having this program tonight, ma'am. That's one of the reasons I specially invited you here.
Yes.
Because I keep hearing gentlemen say, once you plan for an emergency, it no longer exists. What would you tell Jamaicans tonight to do? Because you had a brother. He died, didn't he?
Yes.
Tell us, did he get on that plane to get out of here, and why not?
He didn't get on the plane. But I would implore every Jamaican to ensure they have this chance, this opportunity. Jamaicans love to say, give us a chance. This is the best thing that could ever happen to Jamaica right now. Because you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be famous. You only need to pay $500 per month. And in case you have an accident, because we didn't plan for an accident.
No.
My brother didn't know you would have an accident. But he didn't know there was member first. You understand? So, and I know if my brother knew there was member first, he would have joined it because he is that type of person. He's very organized and he's very prepared for whatever happens in life.
I want to extend, on behalf of all of us here, condolences to you, and would ask if you all give her a round of applause for her strength, for being here tonight and sharing her story with us. Because she didn't have to do this. She's not paid to do this. We just wanted someone with a real life story to come and explain what's going on. What's going on. Doctor, you know, before I come to you, let me go to the Nurses Association of Jamaica. And the new president, could you put your hands together for the new president? You know, there is another president that she was so presidential that, you know, it's going to take a little while before we all get used to Miss Patterson, right? And, you know, I'm talking now as a straight newsman, right? It's going to take a little while. You've heard of this program. You've hearing what's going on. You've heard the testimonial tonight. A lot of people would want to question, well, are we saying that the Jamaican system ain't good? I mean, why are we having to fly people out? What is your take on this, ma'am? You can sit.
Thank you, Michael Sharp. Good evening, everyone. The Nurses Association of Jamaica understands what is offering to us from the JamaicaMed Serve team. We recognized that the offering sounds good. We also recognize that their base is not that they're taking away healthcare from Jamaica. They have laid it on the table that they recognize that we have a very good healthcare system here. However, there are services that we may need and it is not offered here. That's the angle from which they're coming from. They've also assured the nurses that our nurses will be a part of their healthcare team that will assist in the assessment of these patients or clients who may need overseas assistance. However, the Nurses Association, of course, had raised the question of visa requirements because bearing in mind that at 5 o'clock, at 12 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, when the emergency strikes, and these individuals who have been assessed by the health team and need emergency evacuation, how are the visa requirements sorted out? That was one of our concerns. And another concern that we have was the fact that the persons who are on the emergency team are the trained professionals. Because we do not want to know that our patients, and even more so my nurses, who may fall ill, the extreme may happen to even one of my members, we have to be guaranteed that the team of professionals or persons who are placed on these aircraft are trained persons who are able, for instance, my Jamaica nurses who are trained in emergency or trauma management, or even my medical doctors who are trained and knowledgeable about managing these patients. And so the Nurses Association really encourages and welcomes any new services that is being offered to assist in the delivery of healthcare to our patients.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Your question is excellent, though. Now I've got to put the doctor on the spot here. Guarantee for proper training, no dibby-dibby business, no little fly-by-night plane, no inadequate medical care. Doctor, you've been weighed in the balance. How do we stand?
I think we are standing well. And the concern of the nurses were also the concerns of my colleagues in terms of the standard. Now, we have adequately looked at the cost. We have actually looked at the time factor. We have looked at the accessibility. Now let us look at the standard. My involvement in this thing is to ensure also that the standard of emergency care, both on the ground and in the air, is really of the highest international standard that is available. And thus, I just can tell you that both the aircraft, the equipment, and the personnel that we are going to use are of the highest standard. Now, importantly, is that the team on the ground will involve emergency medical technicians, will involve highly trained nurses, which means that you will have ICU nurses, you'll have anesthetic nurses, you'll have highly trained doctors in terms of emergency medical doctors of the highest standard. And importantly, when you leave now and go into the aircraft is fully equipped. The next thing is that we will have flying with the patient, 2 emergency medical technicians, the ICU nurse or the anesthetic nurse, and in some cases, the doctor as well. So inside that aircraft, that is so. The next thing is that the equipment, things like anesthetic machine, cardiac monitors, and all of that, our staff, and we have started to train the emergency medical technicians as well. But we also, apart from the fact that these highly trained people can work on the ground, they will also, there's a program for us to train even more our staff to be in aeronautical medicine. So when they are in the air, they can take care of the patient, they understand the pressures in the cabin, they can also resuscitate the patient and to ensure that level of safety in the air.
Need to take a break from Your Issues Live. Your issues are Jamaica.